bring Jesus to others, and others who receive Jesus have Jesus in them. So she's a model as the perfect living tabernacle.
Wow, what a perpetuation.
So that was how I was led to a greater devotion to it.
That's so beautiful. Another interesting thing, growing up in the era, many, many, many years ago, of the Catholic churches being open all the time, so you could stop in for a visit to the Blessed Sacrament. You're one of the rare people who still keeps the church open during the day. Not to get into a whole thing with other parishes, but why you and why not other parishes?
I know of some parishes who do so, and that is good. And I follow their lead because I really do believe people need a place to stop in and rest in the arms of the Lord. I really believe that people need some time apart from their busyness they're involved in as parents, as spouses, as children. So my motive is to keep that door open within proper hours, not dangerously. I don't keep the door open at late hours of the night, but during the proper hours when it's safe, so people could come in and just find some peace of mind and be blessed.
What a blessing, what a blessing. Now, not to be telling tales out of school, but one more special crown in our dear Lord's, jewel in our dear Lord's crown emanating from you is something you did the other day on World Prayer Day. You had a healing service. Could you explain that a little bit more?
Well, you invited that, actually, Mayme. It wasn't initially all my idea. You did approach me as a parishioner of St. Simon's. And to make a long story short, yes, it was the World Day of Prayer for the Sick, the memorial of Our Lady of Lourdes. And as you've mentioned to me, and I followed your lead, because it was a great idea, I did have services 3 times that day for people to come and to be prayed over and to be anointed if their anointing was needed. And it worked out very, very well.
It was a blessing.
It worked out very well. So thank you very much for
placing
the seed of the idea in my heart and mind. And I thank God that I pursued it, because it worked out very well.
And also, too, so often, you know, today, in today's day and times, the constant world of technology revolving around and spinning around in the heads of young people, it's hard to get a word in edgewise and to say, listen, stop and pause, as you said, how put it so well, pause for a moment and let's address the God of the cosmos, of the universe, who can manufacture more video games in essence and in reality than the ones that the world has come up with. Father Marc, what are your thoughts on the relevancy of saying to young people, how can we get them involved? I mean, what do you suggest? It's a trying, difficult situation because we're in competition, you know, and the spiritual way usually is such a soft way, not without its power. The power is unprecedented, but it's very, very difficult to say, come and sit for a while and, you know, let's see where we're going with this.
Right. We're all seeking personal satisfaction. We're all seeking some peace of mind. So as we search for that in our lives, there are many avenues to walk down, to seek personal satisfaction, to seek some peace. And I really believe, based on my own experience and based on the experience of others, the satisfaction, the fulfillment, the peace of mind is found. They are all found. They could all be found simultaneously by coming to church in a quiet moment and just being with the one who is the source of all satisfaction, all peace, and all consolation.
Now, I'm a novice and I'm about to come into your church and try to make a holy hour. Can you give me some direction? What would be the first? Because I know even at this advanced stage, if I go before the Blessed Sacrament, did I shut the gas off? Is that pot boiling? Where am I going to be? Did I pay that bill? And, try as I might, to squelch all this coming into my head, I, too, have not mastered the art of perfect contemplation.
Neither have I. But what I would do, if you are a novice, is to come with that in your mind and the concerns in your heart and bring it to the Lord. Don't try to sublimate it. Don't try to disassociate yourself from it. Bring it and ask God to bless you to handle it. Don't, those were the obstacles.
So he takes us with all of our imperfections, and as long as our intention is pure, he'll make it right.
I believe he will. So that would be a beginning, to bring it and to lift it and to hand it over and see what comes of it.
Beautiful. Yes, and knowing me as well as you do, over the time we've spent in church, my quest is always for the poor and what can make their lives better. Practically speaking, we know, economy-wise and everything that, what's needed, but how can coming before the Blessed Sacrament or exposition of the Blessed Sacrament, I'm thinking, how does this impact someone who's saying, are you kidding me? Every spare hour I have, I need to make money to provide for my family. With patience, I'm sure you may have even heard this expressed, and, that this experience is not just for little old ladies like myself who have some time to come and spend. How do we pump it up a notch and really make people aware? Is there a possibility that by our example that God will instruct the poor, that this is something that is very viable? It's not a way to make money, it's not to provide a living, but maybe just in giving God his due respects, his time, that he converts that into an alchemy. I'm asking you the question and I'm going on with a long explanation.
Well, I think you did provide some answers to your own question, but I'd like to add to it, there's no success in life without God's presence. You can have the thickest wallet in your back pocket, you can have the heaviest pocketbook, you can have the most beautiful jewelry around your neck and wrists and fingers, but that's not success. Success comes when you're doing God's will, and the only way you're going to find out you're doing God's will is to be with God, to be present to him. And when you leave there, again, enriched, tapping into a treasure, and then you can leave there with a greater focus on what I need to do to be successful and how to fulfill my potential. So it's a school of enlightenment. It is a time when one does become rich, not in a way that the world perhaps understands riches, but in a way that
spiritual treasury
truly counts.
Yes. And we have talked about and possibly tossed around the idea and waiting for God's instruction on it, on maybe an apostolate also of healing and of presence, divine presence, with young people. Is that a possibility in St. Simon's for the future?
I hope it is. We are a small parish of approximately 200 families, covering the areas of Rockaway Township, Jefferson Township, and some come from West Milford. So they're spread out. So it's hard, at times, it's hard to bring them all together. Nevertheless,